Boom Man, we're back. So this is more of a personal video, but on the back of my last ones, I decided that I need to get myself down there, even if I just end up coming back. So it's one of those things where I've got a what have I got on me? I've got a hotspot on me. Hopefully that'll hopefully that'll keep connected. But just going for the ride, take a ride really. So there may not be much to watch, but obviously there's always a high chance of me crashing because I haven't gone this length from this particular vehicle before. And it might actually be nice down there, although the wind's picking up. I think we've got rain coming, so that's the other motivation. I'm going to try and get down there, and if I just get down there and come straight back, then it's better than achieving fuck all. But the irony is not lost on me that I've gone from, you know, one day you're fighting radical extremists and another day you're fighting your own anxiety. How crazy is that? And how crazy is it that I've probably got more bottle fighting those extremists than I have fighting myself? How crazy is that? Anyway, I don't know what the noise level is going to be like, so I may go quiet. But I've got backup battery with me. Who's this? Hey, how you doing? So I may not be able to see the comments as I go along. I don't know yet and I don't know if we're going to lose signal because I'm going to go past a very bad signal area. But sometimes StreamYards will buffer in a way that allows it to stay connected. So we'll see. But yeah, it's not really a podcast. It is a simple fact that, as I said in my previous two podcasts today, rain's coming. It's a perfect day, although that perfectness is going away very quickly. It's getting colder, and you can feel rain's coming. And if I want to have, regardless of weather is great if you get good weather, but it's irrelevant if you don't face the fear and get out and get that first one out of the way. Once you've got that first one out of the way, then you probably find you're going to be more spontaneous when there's some decent weather and stuff like that about. But every time in my past where I've let myself be beaten into submission, into staying indoors, that's usually what happened for the rest of the summer. I'm not fucking allowing it today. I'm not allowing it this year. Spent half a lifetime hiding indoors. No more. If it gets smoother, I will talk properly, but it's just, like I said, I can't see the screen properly and allow you to see anything. I tried to do it 16:9, but yeah, it won't work this side, but I might try it on the other side another time. I probably it's thanks to the power lights. The sun's too strong, so I'm not using the pedals. So I'm not going to burn this battery up because it's smaller than my scooter battery, so it shouldn't technically make it down here. But yeah, we'll see. It's lighter. Whoa, it's lighter. It's quicker. So we'll see. Probably get fucking stuck down there. No two ways about it though. This is an electric motorbike, and really, we need to stop hiding it because I mean this is a beautiful frame and everything else. It's a lovely smooth bike to ride, but nevertheless, one, you're going to get kids riding these things. Kids should not be riding these things. Two, because it doesn't look like a motorbike and it's got, and people aren't being told any different. Cars are confused. Well, I don't know when I lost you guys then. Um, oh shit! Now it's in. Hang on a minute. What a fuck about? Fucking hell. Um, well, I couldn't get to show you what I wanted to show you anyway. Hopefully it won't turn green things weird colours. I should have turned that off now. Um, yeah, I'm using a hotspot because the phone's got no data on, but also, as I said, this is a terrible place. We're right on the edge. Although there's transmitters on the Isle of Wight, in terms of the south of the country, we are literally on the edge, points out of the sea. So, although we get a lot of transmitters down here, because the ground is chalky and it's good for the transmitters. It doesn't subside so much. At the same time, when you're at the end of it, you really are at the end of it, and that's where we are now. Of the fucking country. um, and this really did used to be the arse end of the country, in as much as a lot of sewage. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the what they called. Oh, hang on a minute. The what were they called? Turfet? No, Toshers, Toshers, the Toshers of London. And in the old days, the Toshers of London were a bunch of quite hard working people. In mind, in the old days, obviously things were different, and including our sewage systems, which were mostly still reliant on things like the Romans. Let me just see if I can turn this camera around. Can I turn this camera around? Hang on a minute. There you go. Yeah, and the Tosches were because we were still reliant on a lot of the Roman systems in London of drainage. The Tosches used to have to like wear all this sort of mac. They'd be known for wearing carrying this lantern, and they used to walk through all the shit, all the rats, all the filth of the sewers. Um, and bear in mind, there's miles and miles of sewers. Many of them got lost, were never heard from again. Because they were the sewers. I can't remember how deep they were. I think it was something like 400 or 800 feet deep at the deepest parts, and it'd be very easy for them to get lost, which they did. Bear in mind that the light that they were carrying was a flame that went out. So obviously it was best for them to stay in close numbers. But obviously they were ill. I mean the rats, the just you can imagine. I mean it wasn't the most. The system was falling apart also, because these are old Roman, it was the Roman underbelly of London, really. It was falling apart, so you could go down into these sewers and have a load of rocks collapse and you're dead. So why would you do it? Is the question, right? Why would you do it? The question, the answer is that back in the old days, the rich people and just about everybody else tossed everything into the Thames. And the way the drainage system was then, things would wash up on shore and things would obviously go into the drainage systems. Now they work very differently than it does today, but also there was a lot of things back then, silver, gold, jewelry, you name it, that had been deposited there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And so a Tosha could earn. Bear in mind, in terms of the type of work he's doing, he's at the bottom of the ladder. But the amount of money he would earn would put him much more in line with a very, very skilled worker. Not not top middle class, but a very skilled worker at the top of the working class chain. He would be earning more than them because of the fines. And what they would also do is then be able to employ other people to go into spaces they couldn't, children. And so there was a massive living to be made. And long story short, they eventually banned the Toshas when they started to change certain laws, and it was dangerous doing it. And also as well, they can't have people doing what they want. And they outlawed it. People carried on doing it, and then eventually, due to other things, I think it was due to the stink in the House of Lords, House of Commons, they ended up rebuilding the entire system of the sewers in London, meaning that all these things went away. But the reason I mentioned the Toshes is because one of the systems that they come up with to get rid of the problem of sewage was to have it pumped to places like here. So where I am now. Behind me is the Isle of Wight. Yeah, I've been down here with a lot of you before, but behind me is the Isle of Wight, and there's a pipe just up there. So sorry, it's not mirrored. So and it it injects sewage into a beautiful clean stream, deer around it and everything else. Perfect natural environment. That's what this place used to be before they turned it into national park. It was a natural forest beach. It's beautiful. Beautiful for its natural beauty, not for its sandy beaches. Um, and 1 second. Um, Sorry. Um, yeah. So sorry, I got completely put off 1 second. I think weather's going to change quicker than I thought. I feel a real change then. Sorry, I've lost myself a little bit now. But yeah, so they inject it over there, and it goes out into the sea as well, which is why people around here have found themselves floating around with turds, nappies, and there was a case of somebody jumped in the water, and within a day they were paralyzed through some kind of parasite that was in the water. Anyway, I don't know how it rates now, but this beach went from being rated one of the worst, most toxic places in the country. Because don't forget as well, you had a power station and a refinery, so all the pebbles were black with oil. It's a port, everything bad that could be was here, and it was one of the most disgusting beaches you could ever come to. Um, I know that after a clean-up attempt, which I thought was all hot air, within 10 years they turned into the third cleanest beach in Britain. I don't know where it stands now, but it is. They have. I've got to give them credit where it's due. They have turned it into a really, really clean place, um, and a safe place. Unfortunately, they've marred that by the fact that they've turned it into a national park, and it's not the same. I mean, it's May. It's all right. It's a Sunday, so I shouldn't really judge. But I mean, I've showed you before. But like that cafe, right? Looks like something you find at Marwell Zoo. Yeah, it's got a big old thing. Yeah, you see, you see how much sitting space is out there. Yeah, none. And on the other side, there's space for about 4 chairs. Right? Well thought out, eh? Considering this beach, even before it was a theme park, would pull in a couple of thousand people a day. So what they did was, in their infinite wisdom, was this place was getting flooded, so they put this thing almost on stilts. Good idea. In the middle of the car park that already was overcrowded before they had a facility in there that could serve maybe 10 times as many people as they used to. So now you've got this big facility that has taken over a quarter of the car park, maybe third of the car park, somewhere around there. So you've got less cars that you can park in here, but you can serve 10 times more people. And I thought, when I saw it, I thought, well, surely what they're going to do is they're probably going to extend the car park. They're going to do something, because you wouldn't do that, something that stupid, and just leave it. It's obviously there's a forward plan. That thing's been there about 5 years now, and there's no car parking spaces. And it's all around one spot, so you've got that place there. But the beach goes on and on for miles, but there's nothing else on there. And at one time, because of that nothing else, that was kind of good, because you'd be able to walk down that way or walk up that way. And sooner or later, you'd find yourself with nobody else around. There's always someone to go where there's nobody else around. Now that's harder, because now it's a national park. Everybody can see the maps, and so you walk along these beaches, and I mean, like I say, if I walk in that direction there behind me, I would only have to walk about a mile at most, and I could probably sit on a piece of beach where I couldn't see a soul. And if I stayed there all night, I'd probably see about 3 people. Now, that's virtually impossible in summer months. And it may sound a bit selfish me saying all this, but it's not just the fact that it ruins it for people that have lived here. Um, but it's also a little place. I can't explain to you how tiny this is, and how natural it was until they decided to make it a natural park. Then comes in your insurance and your health and safety, and as a result, they've cut it down, cut the trees down, cut anything down that looks remotely dangerous, and it's all sanitized. It doesn't feel like a forest anymore. On top of that, um, because it's so small, it attracts people to the New Forest as well. The part of the New Forest we're in is already like under real strain from the amount of people that's got walking around it, and just walking a dog, riding bikes, everything else. You can see the strain that the forest is going under, trying to stay a forest and not turning into a gravel patch. And the same with this beach. Um, It's doing all right at the moment, but it's because they're making it artificial. But it's not really. It's just a naturally occurring small beach, but they've tried to put it on a big time map, and as a result, it's getting worn down really quickly. Um, and I don't like the idea of how this place is going to look in about 10 years' time. It really wasn't a forward-thinking move what they've done here. And I'll never understand it because the place isn't really big enough for you to make a load of money. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the way councils are run, I mean, we've got I'll give you an example. We've got a leisure centre just across the road from where one of my relatives lives, right? And um, I worked at that leisure centre. What I found out was they make a loss every year because it's run by the government. Their goal, I mean, if they can make profit, great, but their goal is to minimize the amount of money they lose. So they're not going to get told you're going to get put out of business if you keep losing money. They're told try not to lose so much money this year. Um, I shit you not. And that's how a lot of these things are able to keep going with substandard shit or with brain dead plans like the ones I'm sitting looking at down here, which I've moaned about every year for the last 4 years. But it is because it's so brain dead. Um, I mean, if you're going to put tables and chairs on something like that, right? Why would you put enough room for 4 chairs? Why wouldn't you either go for it and put like at least 16 up there or put none up there so it's fair for everybody? Um, it's just a wind up for people. I don't get it. And like I say, it looks like a building that belongs in Marwell Zoo. If you haven't been to Marwell Zoo, it looks like, if you have been to Marwell Zoo, it looks like the monkey fucking buildings. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's that doing here? It looks really odd. This place got so much history from the war, from just so much of it. And then we're looking over at a place with so much more history, the Isle of Wight. I say more, not necessarily more per square mile. Um, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry that it's cutting out and all the rest of it. Confidence is key, Tom. Exactly, and I had to, yeah, I had to. I hope it's working now. Is it working? Can you hear me all right? And no buses down here. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, well, not no buses, but so the good thing I found out is I brought some spare power, i.e., an electric generator with me. It's not massive. It's about the size of, I don't know. It's a kilogram, but it's about 70,000 watts. It's just a big old power bank basically. It also does AC. So I brought that down in case I needed to put enough charge into this bike to get back. But it seems like this bike hasn't even lost its first bar of power yet. So I think getting down here and back isn't going to be an issue. So it's a lovely bit of kit. It's nice and smooth. So that's worked out well. But I wish I could show you properly. But StreamYard, this is the thing about StreamYard, right? You can do a studio setup like this, interview, stuff like that. But unless the actual video feed that's going in here is going in via something else, then you can't zoom, you can't change the camera easy. You can change the camera, but you can't do it at a click of a button. There's a lot you can't do. StreamYard is boneheaded in some ways. It's constructed. What I will say about it though is that it's constantly been improved since the day that I first used it, and they are always improving it. So credit where it's due. It does a lot more now than it used to. But yeah, there's unless you're using your camera, streaming it to, I don't know, either say Skype or your website direct, and then using that feed, then you can't zoom, you can't do anything, you can't. So it's really hard to like, even show you around or anything. So yeah, bummer. Um, 1 second. And the other thing is with StreamYard is, where like you know, like Google censors some of the words that are, especially when it's on Top Chat. I think Top Chat is all I can get on here. But at the moment, we should be broadcasting to my second channel, to Odyssey, and to the Parachute channel. So I just want to try them to see what would happen. Getter don't want to help me. And you know what? It's cool. It's cool. In a way, the amount of people I've seen that are, if I want to continue this, right? So please don't hold me to any promises or anything. But if I was to continue this, what I've realised is there's enough people now who have been given the, and this is not against them, right? Please don't think I've got any problem with anybody that's going live on Getter. Fair play to them. But nevertheless, they've been given a hand job, yeah. And again, that's not a swipe at them, not at all. But that also means that there's quite a few people that have left YouTube all in one go. So there's a hole, there's a space, and so, and because people have stayed, I don't like the word loyal, but they've stayed in touch with this channel, and they've come back and they've watched this channel, and they've carried on supporting. I feel like no matter what else I do elsewhere, Odyssey or anywhere else, I feel like the people that don't want to leave YouTube, and there are a lot of them, and people won't accept this tough shit. I don't care what you accept. I know the facts. The facts are a lot of people will not leave the mainstream of YouTube. A lot of those people have supported me for 4 years. I'm going to support them back, in as much as even if I move platforms, I'm not going to stop producing videos for them whilst they're here. As much as I want them to move in a way, one, I'll be cutting my own throat because, you know, but two, yeah, I think it's going to take a few things to happen at once in order for people to be ready to move away. And it won't be until YouTube is useless to them that they will be prepared to do it. And when the competition is so strong that it's everywhere, and it's, in the end, it's overwhelming because they end up getting dragged into it, a bit like Facebook did to a lot of people and everything else. You just end up getting dragged into it. And that's what you need. Obviously, there's been a lot of laws passed since YouTube started, but nevertheless, you could still have you could still have a place that started off on the same principle with YouTube with the videos. You're always going to be subject to corporate ambition, meaning, for instance, when I was part of the pirate world, allegedly, what I saw was many places that started off as being free and file sharing and all this other stuff, but over time they would get greedy and they would want to make money. And the whole essence of what they stood for was lost in that action, in taking money. You know, I saw that quite a few times, and I can't remember what I'm talking about. Fuck's sake, do you know what? I'm going to stop making these videos if this keeps happening. It's amazing. It is a beautiful day, though. Like I say, north-south split today. So I don't know what it's like the other side of the border, or even the other side of, say, I don't know, say about 70 miles north of Middlesbrough, maybe. I'd be interested to know. I mean, it's only about 20 here today, 20 degrees, but the humidity level and the just the way it feels makes it feel about 21, 22. It's not bad. You know, it's a slow warm up. It is a slow warm up, and I share like Jay Goose's kind of trepidation, but I'm just kind of thinking last year was pretty much one of the worst summers that you could get. One of. So, yeah, the chances of having two like that in a row, it does happen, but it's unlikely. So, fingers crossed. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a live on Zero News, like about proper things, but I don't know if we're gonna hold a signal or not. So yeah, and by the way, Tosh's and Tosser are not related words. So it wasn't that that word got converted over the years into toxic, because that would be a natural assumption, but they are actually completely two separate words. Um, I heard that Quente, I don't know how exactly you pronounce it, but I think it was Quente, was one of the earliest forms of the word cunt, but I'm still trying to work that one out. Because obviously that's a really important piece of information that everybody needs to know, so I'm really on that one. I got some stuff I'm cooking up with Danny Roscoe. I got some stuff I'm cooking up myself. I'm a bit behind with things, and there's some things I need to rearrange. As I said, I've got no budget for this. It comes out of my pocket. I'm happy with that arrangement. I'll keep it like that, as I've always said. But at the same time, I need to scale things that I'm aiming to do to fit that properly. Then, but as I said, isn't irony when I started this recording today? Just trying to get down here, one of my favorite places in the world, so that I didn't spend the rest of the summer thinking about coming out down here and not doing it. Isn't it crazy that one day I'm facing Muslim extremists, another day I'm facing walking out my door and going down the beach, and I can honestly tell you, I was more afraid of walking out the door and going down the beach than I was facing those people. I know that means I must be fucking nuts. There must be something wrong with me. There's no way you can rationalize that and make sense of it, is there? Let's be honest. So, but you know what? It don't really matter, does it? If it helps someone, great. Do you know what I mean? One thing I did find that was that in pressure scenarios like that, it made me realize that one, I could put up with a lot more pressure than I realized I could, and two, when you would come back home, you would realize that I can take more than I thought, and so being home isn't as bad as I thought. You know, the walls used to close in me when I got back before, but you can appreciate the fact that there's different levels of nervousness, different levels of scared, and for whatever reason, when all hell seems to be breaking loose, I tend to go into quite a relaxed automatic pilot, which doesn't make sense, but I do. So I'm like a guy with PTSD on a really nice, beautiful day, but I'm like a cold, calculated, whatever, when things are going crazy. Anybody want to explain that to me? I bet you can't, because it's not explainable, is it? Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's been handy, it's been handy because it's what's enabled me to stand my ground. If I felt the same anxiety all the time, it would be really hard to do some of the things I've done. But I've been able to stand my ground because, yeah, it's like that joke, thing from the Avengers. My secret is I'm always angry. My secret is I'm always scared. And there's some truth. There's some truth to that, in as much as you've got a resilience to anxiety. And so rather than being frozen by it, like a lot of people are when they get hit by it, you're more likely to do something because you're more used to that drug in your body, you know? So, anyway, I don't know if I'm speaking to myself, I probably am, but if someone could just give me a bit of feedback if you're there, because I haven't really got a lot else to say. I just wanted to get down here, to be honest. I got to get back soon. I've also got to go through this StreamYard and just delete everything. Um, no knee pads, no elbow pads. Um, I was wearing gloves though because of what I did in my hand. Look how quick it's healed. Wolverine, Wolverine healing. Now do you see what I mean? When I say that I heal like fucking. That's why I can take the bumps, because the bumps just they go away like rain. Hate having anxiety. I think anxiety in its own way. I wouldn't say worse than depression because you've got to be careful saying things like that. But to me personally, it's worse than depression because depression can take you into the terrible dark recesses. But anxiety is the one that makes you feel desperate for it to stop. Please make it stop. Please make it stop. I'll do anything to make it stop. Think about the power of those words. I'll do anything to make it stop. And most people that have had really intense anxiety would have said those words, even if it's just in their head. And at that moment, you take any drug, you would do anything, you are, especially if you haven't dealt with it before, you can be a slave to it. And if you allow yourself to be a slave to it, you'll take or do whatever takes it away, which can be a dangerous path down a rabbit hole that could swallow the rest of your life, you know? Sort of what happened to me in a way, you know? I was a good computer programmer. I was good at most of my jobs. Not brilliant at all of them. There's a couple I just struggled with, but because my heart wasn't in them. But I was good at all my jobs, and yeah, you know, it was really difficult when I started having days where anxiety was starting to creep into the work time, and that desperation of needing to be safe, or need not even to be safe, just for that feeling to go away, was creeping into my work hours. It's creeping into my, I don't know. And I remember everybody at my job noticed the change in me. Everybody used to say to me, Jesus, you were always, because what you don't realize about me is I always come on so serious on here. I used to be the joker, the fucking, and I don't mean one of those people that thinks they're a joker, but actually they're a nasty person. I mean, I used to have a lot of fun with people and you'd be doing impressions and being silly, and everybody used to know that about me. And so when this change happened, it almost happened overnight, but I didn't notice it. And everybody that I work with, it's funny, you think blokes wouldn't notice, everybody noticed it. I had blokes coming up to me, going, Tom, what's wrong? And I'd be like, what? What's wrong with you? I don't understand what you mean, mate. You're always the life and soul when you come in here, mate. You look really like sad at the moment. Is there something wrong? Is it, you all right? And I sort of brushed off the first one, and then I had about 5, 6 people say the same thing to me, and not just on that day, but over the next couple of weeks. And I knew something was wrong, but I thought, like, well, there was a bunch of things that I thought all wrong. I liked being a computer programmer. I felt like someone special. I know that's probably a bit materialistic, but I did. I was the only programmer of a certain programming language in the entire world, and I felt quite pride over that. And when I was video editing, you know, there's videos out there now. When I fixed PCs and that's not such a hard job, but when I was building them for people, I built some beautiful PCs, and what I was most proud of was for 500 quid I was building PCs and sell them for 500 quid, and they would cost people probably add 1,000 to that is what they would cost if you bought them from a shop, and they wouldn't be under power with me. I loved doing that, but I couldn't run my own business, and the stress was too much. And it's always turned out to be that someone who could help me run a business is always telling me that when it's too late. Yeah, so it took, you know, finding people that sort of accept the fact that you are, when you're at zero, you know, I've always been told I'm 6 gear or none, and the truth of it is, when I'm on 6 gear, I can do anything, but when I'm on none, yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. And getting stuck on that 0 gear actually is a problem for me. That's where I'm been a bit at the moment. It's why you haven't seen those videos I've been promising. There's some really good videos I want to make for you. And I'm fucking annoyed at myself. Sorry. I'm fucking annoyed at myself because I plan them out. They're simple videos. If I go on and on about them too much, they're actually going to be boring for you because they're not that special. They're just a bit different. So I don't want to talk about them too much ahead of time. and all they require is me to knuckle down and do a few days' work. And my head has just been all over the place. I'm annoyed at myself because I launched a new channel and now it's just got bollocks on it instead of the type of videos that I was trying to aim for it. And I'm just like, oh, fuck's sake, don't start like this again. So, thanks to someone, I've got a great opportunity to have a website. But at the same time, it's like, right, I've got to, one or two things has got to happen. I've got to start doing these things. I'm never going to have a schedule. That's never going to happen. I've tried, and anxiety is always going to prevent that. But I need to at least finish things, finish ideas. I know what will happen with the website if I start doing it right today. I do half of it, then drift off to the next thing, and not fit, and I need to, if I'm going to make a go of this, again in a non-profit making way, but if I'm going to make a go of this in terms of popularity and stuff like that, I need to be on top of this stuff. And if I'm going to have a website, it's better to have no website than a website that looks like shit and acts, because you've half-hearted it. So I do so many things by myself but some of them I do half-heart, and that's not good enough. You might as well not bother. So yeah, I want to put the videos together that I said I'm going to do. If Roscoe needs me the way I think we were going to do it before, then I want to make sure that I keep my word to him and do that. And also it's something fun to look forward to. And just with my main channel as well, just to keep it consistent. I'm never, like I say, I'm never going to be able to keep a schedule. I've reluctantly had to accept this, but I do know I am capable of coming on every week when things are good. So I can't say I'll be every so and so day. I can't say I'll be, but I could say, well, look, I see you every week, and even knowing that makes a lot of people realise you're going to be around. But I don't even want to commit to that until I know that I'm at that stage of being happy enough to be able to commit to a weekly thing. Sometimes you've got to go backwards in order to go forwards. You've got to take a few steps back, rebuild, go forward. I miss certain things that I was doing that gave me some purpose. But at the same time, as I said the other day, I was also given some great advice by someone who said, you need to learn how to live inside and outside this movement. And it's true, I know how to live inside it, but I lost track of how to relax, how to do some completely unimportant things. Every time I started trying to do something unimportant, it felt like a waste of time. Now, bear in mind, I come from a background of doing meditation and stuff like that. There's no such thing as a waste of time. But that's how I was starting to feel. Every time I try to do anything relaxing, oh, this is a waste of time. I shouldn't be doing this. Guilt. And as I said, guilt's pretty useless. You've either got to commit yourself to something or not. But the other thing as well is like, if you have a normal life, you can't have a normal life and do this. Let me rephrase. If you try and do normal things and have some normality in your life and do other things away from the movement, not only is it healthy for you, but it also means you can have other stories that are going to happen naturally in life. You can be able to bring back to this stories from reality rather than your cooked up mind. And also, you're going to be more interesting as a person because rather than being monotonal in all aspects about what you're talking about, there's going to be a flavor of meeting people, seeing people, talking to people, getting opinions. That all, we're all a product of the things that we hear and the things that we read and things that we consume. That's what dictates which side of the certain argument that you're on and that I'm on is the information that we ingest, so yeah, and I am going to take some time as well to do just that, ingest knowledge and keep learning. That's one of the most important things for me for all of this is keep learning, and I haven't been able to learn as much as I wanted to. So while there is going to be gaps of time, I'm going to use them to learn things that I feel like I've got a hole in. But I really do want to make some fun or interesting, both videos or videos you won't expect. Just to, crossing quite a broad spectrum that really, some of them you'll probably hate, but some of them I hope you'll either fall about a laughter or you'll be like, wow, that was powerful, or just, I like that, don't know why. Just want to make something different that you're not expecting. I've stood, for 8 hours doing live streams for you, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do it again. I'm just saying I want to show you something different. So that other channel I've got, the one that is called Stranger Than Fiction, although it's had a bad start, to say the least, that is where I intend to release those videos. Maybe on my main channel eventually, I don't know, but I'm going to do the prototypes on that channel and see where we go from there. It'd be nice to have a channel away from my main one, where it's just completely different, where you've got that space and time. So basically, one channel serious to our cause and everything else, so that you don't get confused by these other videos, and then this other channel where you're going to go and get Stranger Than Fiction. I like that idea. Of being offered that different type of content. I hate this content bollocks. What I really mean is that type of experience, because this is what it's all about, isn't it? Experiences and stuff like that. And when I started, this has all been about offering an experience, of this experience of watching an idiot like me try and talk about mental health and self-awareness and honesty, whether it's the whether it's just watching me struggle through all of this bollocks. Sorry, I just noticed something. I can see a warm front coming in, or an occluding front. I don't know which it is, but the weather's going to change a lot quicker than I thought. This could be by tonight, very easily by tonight. And the contrails are falling massively. The air is absolutely soaking wet up there, and freezing. It kind of says rain. I can't really show you with this StreamYard. It kind of says rain. So I'm not going to stop too much longer because I can feel the change. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't really said much, really, have I? But trying to just get the fucking video to work down here is hard enough. One second. But sometimes, and I hope you guys realise this, sometimes coming out and just being able to talk bollocks like this, for me, can be the catalyst in what allows me to have got so much out of my system that I then do go to that other channel and I do make that other video. I find that if I sit and try and bottle it up and don't, that's when it's just, I go round and round in circles, which is why coming down here today was partly about. This is not the first day I've thought about coming down there. I've been thinking about this for the last 4 weeks. So it's today, it's like, let's break that chain of thought. And it may be something as simple as that. It may be something I do later, or maybe something I do tomorrow, maybe something I did yesterday. But something will trigger me to go boom and start doing those videos. And you never know what that's going to be. So the best thing to do all the things are the healthiest for you as possible. So today, break that cycle. You're in a cycle where you keep thinking about doing something, but you ain't quite got the balls to do it. Get out there, do it. That's done now. I've done it now. So when I get back, this is one little thing off my mind, and it's like, right, I wanted to make some videos, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? So, and that's what I will. I'm already feeling that. I'm already feeling that feel of I want to go and make a video. So it really does work, and this is why I say to you, I would never force someone to get out if they're not in that position. Archer, yes, I need to speak to you, bud. I know it's my fault. But oh man, good to see you, man. So good to see you. But yeah, sorry, I'm losing it again. I do apologise. You know what? I think I might quit while I'm here. I'm just AJ Goose. I'm just happy to see my mate. I really am. Yeah, it's been a rough time. But at the same time, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything because things have to work out the way they have to work out. And you start that whole fucking thing tapestry, Archer? You start pulling away the threads. You think that you've done wrong, and what else comes apart? What else? What other decision would you not have made? And because of some of the good things that I've done, I wouldn't want to undo some of the bad things that have happened because they may undo those good things, you know? So, but yeah, sorry. The reason I act like that, I see Archie come on. Me and Archie have been mates probably about 25 years now. I'm not exactly sure how long. And because I'm a jerk, we were speaking quite regularly, and then where I've got in this world of my own, I haven't spoke so much, and it's sort of mostly my fault. And but Archie knows me very, very well. And when I very, very first started doing this, I mean, when I very first started doing this, he knew exactly what I was selling. Um, he got it, but also encouraged me not to what's the word? Compromise on that. Not to compromise the fact that I was selling myself, and not to give in to the demands of making it a Tommy Robinson channel, or do you know what I mean? Um, and he was right. And loads of people said to me, "Who the hell do you think you are, putting yourself on camera?" And I should be the one saying, "Stick with it, mate." And then within no time, people were coming to see me, and that was a shock to me, but it wasn't a shock to him, and never has been. And yeah, he's had my back a lot of times, so you know, um, don't feel like less than. It's just we've been friends a very long time, and yeah, like I say, I'm a bit of a dick and I don't stay in touch as much as I should. It's not even that. It's just that my head's all over. Archie knows me. My head's all over the fucking shop at the moment. I've got other friends. Well, it's not just. It's everybody. I've got so many people to catch up with. People I haven't written emails to. So many. But when I'm like that, I'm like, well, you got. If you're gonna get anywhere, you gotta go. You gotta. If you try and please everybody, you can't do it. And I've been trying to do that since I started this podcast. You know, write to everybody, please. You can't. There's too many people. But you've got to remember your close family, close friends first, because they're the people that were with you and stuck with you before any of this mattered. You know, um, they're the people that believed in you before any of this happened. You know, and by the way, that's not knocking anybody. That's normal. That's normal for something like this. But obviously, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people only joined when they saw a sniff of success. That's normal. That's why we try to get it, because that's exactly how the world works, and I had no problem with that whatsoever. But I'm just saying. So, over the last few months, especially, I think with my sister and with other things that have happened, it's made me realise, you know, the power of friends and close family. And also made me realise as well, you know, that unfortunately, a lot of my friends are online, and I say unfortunately because, you know, well, there's a lot of difficulties with that. Although I will say, most of the people that I've got any decent friendship with, I've not just met, but I've met a few times, and that's a good thing. Um, you know, I do think if you want to call it a proper friendship, if you've met and you can stand each other, because I'll tell you something, and this is not me hitting out at anybody because it applies to me as much as it applies to anybody else. When you meet someone and you spend a bit of time with them, forget how many weeks on the internet you've been getting on. That doesn't matter. It's when you spend 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, 76 hours with someone. That's when you find out whether you truly like each other or not. And that's when you can find out whether you've got the right to call each other friends when you're online. And as many of you know, there's been certain people who I've spent a little bit of time with falling out very quickly, regardless of whose fault. regardless, yeah. Um, and that's what a lot of people find in the movement when they meet a lot of people. That's normal, yeah. We're not all meant to get on. But at the same, conversely, like when I met the lads from Voice of Wales, I could have sat there for days talking to them. You know, I just love talking to them. So I do think that when you know, if you're prepared to meet people in real life, that is what shows you the people that are worth kind of knowing, um, or not even worth knowing. I've got to be fair. The people that you're compatible with is probably a better way of putting it. So, hey, Babs. So, right. I think I should just shut up and call it a day. I'm not going to do a video for the other channel yet. If something comes to mind later on, I'll do it. I'm not making a video for the sake of it. I just came on here to test this today, and just get some shit out so that I can focus on these other things and just document for myself the fact that I got down here today in spite of myself. And that, as much as most people would probably sit and laugh at me like I'm some kind of cretin, to me, that is a fucking victory. I didn't want to do it for no rational reason. I realised there was no rational reason, so I did it anyway, and I'm glad that I did, and it's going to enable me to be more productive when I go back. What the fuck is wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's called understanding yourself. So, yeah, I'm alright with that. Anyway, sorry for boring you, but yeah, it's all part of the journey. And in any good video I make in future, remember these shitty ones here are the ones that make those other ones possible. If that makes any sense at all. Without these, the others wouldn't exist. So it's all swings and roundabouts. Anyway, love you all. Take care. Tom Fury. Good day for now.